Today's story is about a young man that was living in Nebraska. He was 23 years old and he was a pharmacy school student. So, he was just doing what he's got to do, that grind to get through school and begin his new life. So this happened in 2012. On August 13th, of that year, he ended up feeling a little bit sick. So, he was just hanging around home, and eventually that led to him having some vomiting and chills. So he thought, maybe it's just a little bug, a little virus or something. But rather quickly, he started to go downhill even further. In fact, a day after that, on August 14th, his mom found him unresponsive. He was lying on the couch. He was stiff, and he wasn't moving. And when she was calling out to him, he didn't respond at all. His parents ended up rushing him to Lakeside Hospital. And there, of course, they ran a bunch of tests trying to find out what was going on with Michael. After all the tests were run, doctors ended up ruling out any type of bacterial infection. They ended up just diagnosing him with a case of the stomach flu. They couldn't really find anything wrong. They thought, okay, bad stomach flu, but it wasn't getting any better. And in fact, it was getting worse and pretty fast. So he was actually transferred to a Nebraska Medical Center. There, run more tests. They found out he was suffering from acute myocarditis. And what that is it's like a swelling of the middle layer, the wall of your heart. So that's swollen and inflamed. And they found out that his heart was just working at about 10%. And due to that, his other organs were starting to fail. This was turning bad really, really fast. So because of this, they ended up having to put him on a certain kind of machine. And what this machine did, it worked for both his heart and his lungs. It kept everything at like a constant level so that everything was pumping normally, he could breathe, all that good stuff. The machine, in addition, it also ended up filtering his blood. So, from any germs, if you will, that type of thing, so that you don't get something called sepsis. After they put Michael on this machine, doctors had to sit his parents down and tell him what was going on, and they had to break it to him that Michael was in need of a heart transplant. They were going to have to try to find him a match. It was a blessing because 3 weeks later, they found him a match. So that's very exciting. That's something almost unheard of, I guess. Those of you in the medical field or that have had a loved one or you yourselves experience this, it's not easy to just find an organ that's a match. There's a lot of things that go into that. So 3 weeks, that's very quick. So on September 3rd of 2012 is when they found that match. But there was a major issue, and the issue was Michael had developed blood poisoning. So this was just not good. That's a very dangerous situation. And because of the complication, doctors had to tell his folks that, look, we're sorry, because of the blood poisoning, we're not able to perform this transplant. So, it had to be put on hold and I don't know the logistics of that, like how long it could be put on hold, because depending what's going on, every case is different. I can just imagine his friends and family so scared and worried because it was already a miracle that they found the match. But then because of this blood poisoning, would the heart go to somebody else because he's not able to have it? I don't know, but I'm sure that was going through their minds. It would me if I was in that situation. There was a lot of confusion and anxiety going on at this point, as you can imagine. 1 hour later, after this was found out about the blood poisoning and sorry, we can't do the transplant, a doctor by the name of Dr. Eugenia Rockland. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. But she noticed something very strange. And again, this was just an hour later, guys. So she took a look, and Michael's blood pressure was up. So this is strange because remember, he is on a machine that is monitoring his heart and his lungs, and it's keeping things at a solid level. So this doesn't make sense that, okay, his blood pressure would be up because of that machine keeping things constant, if that makes sense. So she was like, oh, that's strange. So she ends up doing an ultrasound, and it showed Michael's left chamber of his heart. It was working perfectly normal again. It's what? that doesn't happen. I mean, so that was just a shock for the doctor. Obviously, the transplant was canceled because now his heart was starting to pump and be at a normal, consistent blood pressure. He was switched to a different machine after this was discovered. So the machine itself only assisted Michael's right side of his heart, since his left was okay right now at this point. They also did an MRI. They found out that Michael did not have any permanent heart damage. There were no scars, nothing. Perfectly fine. And get this, 4 days later, Michael's heart, right side as well, all of it was working without the help of any machine, doing just fine on its own. And on September 9th, his breathing tube was removed, and he was brought out of sedation because, you know, when you're on any type of machines like those, they have to put you like what is called like a medically induced coma, and that's so your body's not going wacky while they're trying to monitor and keep the levels all normal and make sure that the patient is okay. So all that was able to be taken off, tube out. Michael was doing great. And Dr. Rockland actually ended up telling the World Herald, I believe it was, that she stated, this is a miracle. You know, this doesn't happen. It's a miracle. And one quote from Michael's mom, her name is Margie. She says, quote, "I just can't believe the care he received from the people here. It truly was a medical miracle. Excellent medical care, and I think the power of prayer," end quote. And Michael himself also quoted, "Everything gets into perspective, and you realize what's really important, and it's family and the ones we love." So this was a quick story, but I thought, man, that's definitely a miracle for his heart to be in that dire of a situation and to come out of it like rather quickly, not need the transplant. Hopefully that transplant was able to be a blessing to somebody else in need as well. So there could have been even another miracle out of that that we just don't know of. So another happy story, a pretty cool one. Hope you guys liked it. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys for the next one.